Guys, I'm super excited to bring you this Prismatic build because it takes one of my favorite PvP builds I posted on the channel a while back to a whole new level thanks to the power of Prismatic. This for me is the current best PvP build out there, and so many people are sleeping on it. It's incredible for kill chaining in 6v6 game modes, and it's amazing for 3v3 game modes like Trials of Osiris, letting you pull off some outrageous 1v2 and 1v3 plays that you wouldn't have been able to do so before. The best thing about this build is that you can use it with any weapon, it doesn't matter, but I'll highlight some weapons that it really shines with, including the Kvostov, which it does have some amazing synergy with, and I'll touch on that a little later. The build has access to so many powerful abilities in one singular package. We get 11 seconds of devour without requiring any kill at all, which lets you preemptively set up kill chaining with ease as you get your whole health bar back with every single kill. Not only that, but you get a 15% damage bonus on top so you can win your duels easier. We also now have access to a healing grenade in the build so you can heal yourself instantly on demand, which is just another easy way to survive duels, and with devour on top you'll have your healing grenade back so quickly for most engagements. The icing on the cake is that we also get the strongest melee in the game in this build. Not just one charge, but 3 whole charges of it, which is actually absurd, and our charged melee kills will also trigger devour on top. It's kind of crazy. We also have 2 methods of becoming radiant, which is another 10% damage boost, as if we needed that. The exotic at the heart of this build are the Warlock exotic boots, the second filaments. When you have a void super equipped, casting an empowering rift will give you devour instantly for 11 seconds. So in an ideal situation, you cast your empowering rift on the corner of a lane inside cover, so you get devour, and you can use Empowering Rift's 15% damage buff to quickly gun down that first person. Sometimes I don't even place the rift down in a good position, I just put it down quickly to get devour so I can perform a 1v2 or a 1v3 more easily. With each kill, devour's duration is extended by 5 seconds. The initial 11-second duration for devour is so generous that you can place the rift down in a bad position and run around until you find someone to kill. And then because devour's duration is extended, you can go on some pretty crazy kill streaks in 6v6 game modes. This season seconds actually got buffed, so you can keep going in and out of your empowering rift and keep refreshing the 11-second devour timer as well, meaning you can maximize the timer even further. Thanks to our first aspect, Feed the Void, our devour is enhanced. So now instead of it healing you for just 100 HP instantly, it now heals you for a whopping 200 HP with each kill, which is most of your health after each engagement. Not only that, but now Guardian kills provide you with 40% grenade energy per kill, meaning your grenade comes back so quickly with this setup. Having Devour also synergizes with one of our fragments, Facet of Hope, whereby having an elemental buff improves the regeneration rate of our class ability. This means that you'll get your Empowering Rift back faster and can restart that core gameplay loop quicker. For the melee in the build, we use Arcane Needle. Now, Arcane Needle in itself isn't a great PvP melee, but the great thing about it is that it provides you with 3 charges of melee. We combine this with our second aspect, Lightning Surge, whereby when you slide, you can use your melee to teleport next to your enemy and deal an AoE lightning blast that can also jolt nearby enemies. Now, this melee is incredibly powerful because it closes the gap so effectively, and it can be used to kill enemies behind cover. Most of the time, I would recommend using it against weakened enemies rather than a Guardian at full health, otherwise you'll need to follow up the melee with another melee or shotgun shot, which is a much riskier play overall. There are some situations, however, where it can be useful to use this up front if there are 2 or 3 enemies that are standing on top of each other. Then the melee combined with the jolt chaining back and forth can kill people with just 1 melee. If you do get a melee kill with the ability, then it will also proc Devour thanks to Feed the Void, so this becomes a great ability to turn the tide of battle when you're losing and multiple people are chasing you. Remember, because we get 3 charges of melee, it's actually exponentially stronger because the second and third melee charges recharge so much faster than the base melee. So this means you can actually get away with a pretty low strength stat and still get your melee charges back fairly quickly. Our grenade we utilize is the Healing Grenade, which provides you with an instant cure ×1 heal, which is 30 HP, but more importantly, it triggers restoration, which will start restoring your HP. This really comes in handy even on top of having Devour in case you make a mistake pushing someone or being out of cover for too long. Having both a Healing Grenade on demand to heal yourself and having a Rift to instantly heal yourself is absolutely absolutely incredible. Because we are using our class ability with our build, we also utilize Reaper in this build, whereby after getting a weapon kill after using our class ability, we generate an Orb of Power. Now, this season, thanks to Radiant Orbs, Orbs of Power will provide you with Radiant, which is a nice 10% damage buff in PvP, meaning you'll be able to kill that second or third person easier. The Orb of Power also synergizes very well with the #1 weapon this season, Kvostov, because when you pick up an Orb of Power, it triggers the Eyes Up Guardian perk, whereby your ricochet shots become much stronger, which makes the gun even more lethal, allowing you to get some ridiculous kills on enemies around the corner and when enemies bunch up together. If you don't use or have Kvostov, don't worry at all. This build works extremely well with any weapon with a damage perk after a kill. So anything with Kill Clip, Onslaught, Golden Tricorn, as you're going to be chaining kills, so you may as well make the second and third kills easier. I've had massive success using the old Void version of this build with something like the Summoner with Onslaught last season, as after each kill I became more and more deadly with each stack of Onslaught. In all the gameplay in the background, I'm using regular second filaments, but you can actually use an exotic class item to make this build even stronger. In the first column for Warlocks, you can actually get Spirit of the Filaments, whereby casting an Empowering Rift will give you Devour. This doesn't have a Void super requirement either, so this means you can run any super instead of running Nova Bomb specifically. The second column, in my eyes, there are only two good PvP options. Spirit of the Claw actually works with Arcane Needles to give you 4 stacks of your melee, which is actually absurd. 4 stacks though is probably overkill for most game modes. You also have Spirit of Syntheseps, which doubles your melee damage if you're near 3 or more enemies. This means if enemies stack on top of each other, you can teleport in and one-shot them all, which could be pretty useful. The good news is there's nothing massively overpowered in that second column with the class item for this specific build, so the regular exotic boots will more than suffice. So let's go over the rest of the build and armor mods that we're using. I'm running Nova Bomb because you'd need to run a Void super with second filaments. But if you have the class item, I'd still run Nova Bomb because it has a shorter cooldown than the other supers. It's also a great shutdown super in general for things like Bubbles and Wells of Radiance. Empowering Rift is key for the entire build, Burst Glide, Arcane Needle for the 3 charges, Healing Grenade for another source of healing. Our 2 aspects are Feed the Void and Lightning Surge. For our fragments, I run Facet of Hope for the faster class ability recharge whenever we have a buff. We do gain several buffs in this build like Devour, Restoration, and Radiant, which will all activate this. Facet of Protection, mainly for the 10 strength stat boost, but it can sometimes proc in PvP when there's 3 or more enemies nearby to give you some damage reduction. Facet of Courage for the 10 discipline stat boost. Facet of Dawn so that whenever we use our melee, we can become Radiant so any subsequent kills become easier. Facet of Blessing so that even our regular uncharged melee can trigger health regeneration, which can be super helpful at times. Remember, our charged melee kills will trigger Devour through Feed the Void, but it's nice for our regular melee to also trigger health regeneration as well. For our armor mods, the main focus is around minimizing our class ability cooldown. On my class item, I ran 1 Reaper, so we generated orbs after using our Empowering Rift, 1 distribution mod, so we got a bit of class ability energy back after using our rift. For our boots, we have 2 insulation and 1 absolution mod to maximize the amount of class ability we gain from picking up an orb of power. Our chest piece, gloves, and helmet have the relevant unflinching, dexterity, and targeting mods for our weapons. In terms of stat distribution, the #1 priority here is 100 recovery because it minimizes our class ability cooldown and it minimizes the time in between engagements before your health starts to naturally regenerate. Then we go for 100 discipline to minimize the healing grenade cooldown. I would then aim for 7 resilience because in the current meta, 7 resilience is a good threshold to minimize a lot of effects like Thorn and perks like Target Lock on various SMGs and auto rifles. Then go for strength, intellect, and mobility in that order. So there you have it, my Prismatic Warlock PvP build that in my eyes is one of the strongest builds out there, period. Unlimited kill chaining with near full health back after each kill lets you go on some monster streaks in 6v6 game modes and lets you pull off some insane 1v2 and 1v3 plays in competitive and Trials of Osiris. If you're a Warlock, this is the build to run, guys. If you enjoyed what I talked about, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny builds, both PvP and PvE. I'm Mr. On It, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.